Okay.
Have fun with that.
Currently live.
Okay. All right.
Did you say anything?
Bro, that's like my issues.
What did it say? Do you remember what to look out for?
GGNNCC. Eliza.
No, but like, you said the initials?
D and L.
EO, Z and something?
That was how you spelled it. Alright.
That's GGNN.
That's my initials.
People yelling at you? You're supposed to be asking questions. Like, ask about her, how she died.
No. It was like, what happened to the mansion?
Oh, go stand in the mansion spot.
Is it over here?
It was like right here. Are you asking questions?
Huh?
You're supposed to be asking questions. What are you asking? You're supposed to ask about. No, that's weird.
Yeah. Like when it was built?
You can ask about any of the ones that he said, but never don't just.
Perfect. Nice slow motions. That way, I mean, I don't always follow up with the cameras in real time just because the screens are so small, just so you know. I put them on I basically put them to YouTube so you guys can watch them however. And then I watch them on a big computer screen. So if between you and Paul, your screens are much smaller. I'm going to probably be following up with Peter because that's a brand new device and it's nice and big and easy to see. But with your guys's, you're basically spectators.
I understand that.
Yeah, and you were pretty quiet. I'm like, yeah, we don't need those commentators all the time.
goose.
Are you asking questions?
I don't know if I'm supposed to. I don't have any different.
You're on a Ouija board, bro. Ask questions.
When was the house built? Huh? No.
Oh,
You?
I don't know. Got some like specks every now and then.
What's that?
I got like some specks every now and then.
Oh, really?
This one's for orbs.
Around certain people?
Like they'll just fly around.
Oh.
Like remember the ones we saw on Corpus Christi?
Yeah.
That. Are you asking questions?
I don't know what to ask. I already asked about the house when it was built and
You didn't get anything then?
like a 76. So he wrote that down. I said, what's that? When was it built? He goes, I'm not going to tell you that yet.
Keep asking, keep asking. You guys get anything?
No. I'm supposed to hang with you.
So you said?
In case his misses something, you'll pick it up.
Really?
Your audio will pick it up. Because this one doesn't like record audio.
Oh.
Yeah, just start saying EA Sports.
My question is like, what happened to the mansion? I don't know what to even be listening for. I'm like just thinking like fire or hurricane or something like that.
Or sold it or something. Or no one was there. So they tore it down.
Deserted.
Yeah. Keep that. Sounds old. Are you supposed to ask questions?
We asked about the mansion. Yeah, no mama.
Come on, Bruce. was Eliza, right?
Yeah.
Eliza, what happened to your house? Did someone tear it down? Or did it get destroyed in like a natural disaster? Did you say yeah?
I don't know.
Was it from the earthquake? Or a hurricane?
Or a fire.
Or a fire?
All up there in our own little world. Any other numbers for me? About 25?
She got the 25.
Go ahead and stop it, give your hands a break. Any other colors that came up out of yours? Nothing at all? Did you get us some good, decent pictures?
Got pictures all around.
Okay, good. Alright, so the weird thing that we'll be testing tonight, and with the camera that you have, it might be picking up some of the, go ahead and mute that for me if you don't mind. It might be picking up some of the LiDAR technology from the Apple, so if you guys see like dotted flashes on folks and around like your spaces when you're watching your video, it's coming from the LiDAR technology. So let's talk about the EMF detections that we've had first, because we got it all, what was our highest number? This is Philadelphia Alley, more Philadelphia, right? So this used to be called Duelers Alley. Reason why? This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. Once that tour moves, you'll see the length of it, and you'll see exactly why this is where they kept them. We all tell that same story, but again, it's different details out of me because you need those for your, investigation, right? So, there was a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. For you Spirit Box people, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it is not a coincidence. We're getting the word brown out of it. Which, by the way, I want to stop there just for a second, just because we were talking about malevolent spirits and demons and all kinds of things along the way in between. You're going to hear that conversation. The places we're going to tonight, there are also things inside my bag to help keep things grounded so nobody goes home with anything. Most of the time, if that's going to happen, it's the ghosts that you guys brought with you that are going home with me because I have all the communication here. So kind of keep that in mind. It's to keep me safe and you. Also, I have kids that get on this tour a lot. You know, the little Ghostbuster kids I get dressed up as Venkman? Yeah, it happens all the time. The places we're going to are not malevolent places. We're talking about a prominent English family, a duel, pirates, and then a crazy bloody author. Like, that's the gist. I want to keep it creepy, but not serial killer creepy, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
Okay, so can we drop all the malevolent and demon stuff, if you don't mind? Because again, the more we talk about it, the more we're like, kind of like drawing it to us. That's not what I'm after. So, let's get back to Dr. Ladd. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from his dead parents. She's an attorney, helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. He's going to start his medical practice down here. By the way, this is the location of why I bought that Ouija board that's in your hands, just so you know. We're going to get into that in just a second. The coachman that was bringing Dr. Ladd into Charleston set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay in Charleston. Somebody was walking by that knew the coachman. His name was Ralph Isaacs, and he's about to stop what's about to happen. I'm going to stop on Ralph for a second because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. Before I had the Ouija board, the spirit boxes were giving me the letters R.I. all the time from DJs. It was the weirdest thing. But we need a secondary clue because that belongs to two different characters. We need to know which person it belongs to. But R.I. has shown up on our Ouija board. He's second. So the IR, I'm not excited about. I wanted R.I. So kind of keep an eye on that. Anyway, Ralph tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay there and you'll be safe and good to go. So the doctor took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. And he's proving his point that he's not just after Amanda's money. So he's doing pretty well for himself. Amanda got wind of this, and she's moving down soon so they can get married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. I'm going to also point out that every haunted city you will ever visit in the future will have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one, but there is proof of this one. Kendal laughs, she's probably heard a whistling ghost story. But we're using voice recorders with me tonight, so in the background, hopefully you're going to be able to find something in that background. We're going to get more onto that because there actually is proof of the whistles. So, back to Dr. Ladd and Ralph. They go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because, see, there's our fake whistle already. Good
Yeah,
job.
who did that?
I caught that already, because it's not always that obvious. The plays they go see, they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's just the way the hierarchy works in Charleston at the point in time. So they go see Richard III one night from Shakespeare, and they're talking about the new actress on their way home. They're arguing. The doctor thought she was fantastic, the new actress. Ralph didn't think so. The argument turns into a bunch of insults on the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. So it gets really ugly, and they go their separate ways. Ralph has friends here because he's lived here a long time. So he goes to see his friends at the newspaper, and he puts an ad in the newspaper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. It's kind of like, you're a disgrace to society, sir. Dr. Ladd saw the ad, obviously, rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. So they came down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel, by the way. Ralph has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. So, Dr. Ladd didn't die either. Ralph proved his point, he's still pissed off, not willing to forgive. Dr. Ladd's friends picked him up, carried him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. This is 1786. It wasn't about the same type of gunshot wound you would think of today. It was more about lead poisoning. He probably tried to bleed this out himself, which is why he refused medical treatment. Every ghost story will tell you as you walk down here, listen for whistles. Obviously not from Jennifer. So, what I will tell you is that when using that voice recorder, keep in mind, last night we had whistling come through on the spirit box recording from a song, and it was just the whistling part of the song. It happens constantly. I would say probably about 2 to 3 times a month that I will see that. We've also had the word whistle show up, even on Kendal's device. So again, these are weird things that occur down here. The other pieces, there's obviously a lot that goes on down here. But again, if you're going to come down here on your own, because I can't take you all the way through. I'm going to tell you why, because I've actually been kicked out of here before. That's the fun part of the story anyway. So, can't take you all the way through. If you're going to, use your voice recorder. See if you get whistles in the background. So, I will tell you that every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. We all do it. I do it every single night on my way back to my car. So I have to pass it. We pass my garage on the way here. So I have to throw a whistle down here just because I got kicked out and I can mess with him. Just like Jennifer just did to us. Here's how I got booted out. This is the thing. This alley didn't come all the way through, going that way. It was cut off about halfway. Why? Because before it was Dueler's Alley, it was called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock in the city of Charleston. That means the bricks on that side are older than the side on this side. Those bricks on the opposite end are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, along with fingerprint swipes on others. I took everybody down there to show them the history of it. However, my groups of 10 always like to, try to huddle around that one brick, waiting for something to happen. I treat that brick the exact same way I do a grave. That kid's not staring at that brick in the afterlife. He's not there. However, November 26th, 2020, my entire group, yes, the date is important, my entire group is huddled, waiting for something to happen from an EMF detector or spirit box. And I'm trying to push them along, not only because I don't think it's there, but because it's also outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion in the alley. Let's split the sea and let them come through. Sorry about that. Oh, you're good. You're good.
Be right through.
How you doing? Good, man. How are you?
Good, very good.
I didn't know much about it.
You got anything crazy coming up?
Upstairs and stair.
Stair. Hopefully that means watch the
Stair
cameras.
and like a step.
Yeah.
And upstairs.
Nice. Alright, so where was I? I'm pushing people along because of the brick, right? And it's outside the kitchen window of that beautiful mansion. Yeah, I was out of bounds. I always knew at this and didn't really know that I was out of bounds. It's in a residential area. So the new neighbor came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great. She was on the floor that night. My dad didn't know that. And we moved on. So the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't work on Thanksgiving. I work in retail management for over 20 years, mainly for Walmart. You adults can feel my pain, right? So, the next day was November 28th. That's the important date. I get a phone call asking me to go down halfway, which is what we're allowed to go, or reroute my group. I decided I'm going to reroute the group, and I told them flat out I don't have any proof from this next story, which is pirates, because I'm a vampire guy. I've investigated that space several times, and I didn't have anything. So I was going to tell them what little bit I did know about piracy and see what happens. Before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell that group we were going to be investigating Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. So I went, shit. So, we get up there, I told the little bit I did know, somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what that means in real time. We're there on November 28th. I'm doing the research the next day of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. What I will tell you about this next space we're going to, obviously we're going to get bleed over from this story that I just told you about the doctor. But Anne Bonny is said to be seen all over town. It is one of those hit or miss locations, just like any paranormal spot. I can almost guarantee something's going to happen at Pinckney Mansion, but that one I cannot guarantee that we're going to have something. I'm going to know after 5 minutes of telling you the history of the building and that space of what you guys are telling me you're hearing or seeing if we actually have hits from Anne Bonny. Otherwise, we'll be moving on pretty quickly. Otherwise, if we are getting hits, then we're going to stay for a few minutes and see what other things we can capture to go along with it. Again, it's either a lot or nothing. That's just the kind of space that it is. Before we leave the space, do we have anything going on there that besides the upstairs and stair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Upstairs.
Anybody else hear anything, or have you guys all been focused on me? Because you all have crazy laser eyes tonight.
At one point I got 3.2.
3.2.
All the lights were on all the way up to orange.
Wow.
It keeps switching out.
So that's higher. Like this base for this location, because of the lamp post, is about 5. So anything below 5, I'm going to say is probably from the lamp post. But you had a 10. So again, we had a little bit of something going on. The cameras obviously are all operating at this point, so we're going to see if anything's going to pop up out of those cameras. Paul's doing a great job moving around, so you guys have a great viewpoint there. That's pretty steady, which means it's coming from something man-made. So whenever it's a rhythm, like a pulse, if you can count it as a beat, or if it's super steady like that,
Yeah, if I put it down, it goes.
yeah, you got it. It's probably coming from some kind of wiring or something from nearby that's just capturing it right there. So we're going to debunk that one. But yeah, that 3.6, I'm going to still say is probably coming from the lamp post. And 5 is about half the chance. That's the case. The gate. There's a reason why I stopped. Remember that the alley didn't go all the way through this way? We're going back to the jewel. So this is the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of that wall. In the event, instead of carrying them all the way down to the end of Glen Street and coming back down around, just take the dead body to the cemetery quicker and go celebrate the winter with a pint. It's just kind of the way that things went back there in the 1780s. Rhode Island, you're looking at was probably built in the early 1900s, so well over 100 plus years after the archway was original. So that's exactly why it's there. There's a little courtyard right here in the cemetery right next to it. Gated now, but probably goes back. So, you guys ready to go learn about some crazy pirates? Alright, video recordings, if you want to keep them going, just keep in mind people like cars and themselves being filmed. So, just be discreet as we're kind of walking up to that next space. We'll stay out of everybody else's way. Let's do this. Snapshots.
He's gonna have to lighten that up. Yep.
Bro, did you see that whole tree moving next to me?
No, yeah.
For fuck's sake. Bethany Slade.
Building.
Who's that?
Alright, what have we seen? What have we heard along the way? What do we got? Didn't you guys have something that I needed to write down?
I had
President, right?
Right.
That was back at that Pinckney Mansion. Okay. And you got all the pictures that you wanted back there? Cool. Any crazy words?
Ride.
Bride. Oh, that's a good one for here. Yeah, it is. That's funny, actually.
Because it keeps unfocusing and refocusing over here to the lights and the
I will tell you that the thermal imaging camera is active up on more than what it is. So if things are happening already where things are malfunctioning, again, we don't normally have here enough space. So it is malfunctioning. Very interesting.
mine's doing it too.
Just doing like a refocus.
It's like it looks really weird on the wall of that building.
Watch your battery life for me if you can. Peter, do you even have battery power on?
You see that?
It's a shadow.
Okay.
Bro, look at the wall of the building. And then the second I point it like over here, it's like fine. See, like right there, it's fine.
Talk about Anne Bonny, but the
Put it
songs
up here.
that we normally hear here are girls
Sure.
just want to have fun and material. We hear those all the time here. Yep.
Even no light in front.
I think Anne was supposed to get married. Yeah.
Talk about that.
Maybe it has something to do with bride.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited about it.
it's still doing the refocus
Okay,
thing.
so after we go through the history here and we spread out and still doing it, I want to know which different locations, if it's the entire location or just from lighting. So it is a good point. All right.
There.
Let's talk about why we're here. We're here to take a look at that tiny little building over there with the crosses on it. Those are not crosses, by the way. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with earthquake bolts, they're turnbuckles that go all the way through the roof or the floor of the building. Basically, what we do is if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned earlier, you can turn the turnbuckles days after slowly, and it'll tighten the building back up so it doesn't incur any other further damage. It's a great idea. It just doesn't work. But it is part of the reason of why we're here. So, those earthquake bolts are the first set that Charleston ever put in. Why? Because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We are here because that building was being constructed at the same exact time that Anne Bonny came here to start her new life. It's what I call a familiar. You guys all watch the TV shows where they use the teddy bears with the EMF detector in it to track the child ghost? It's the same principle. We're here, and again, we have other buildings around the same age, but again, she bounces all over town. We're hoping that the 15 minutes, 20 minutes that we're going to be here, so will she. That's the hope. So let's kind of get into the rest of Anne's history. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. Thank you. So, she's like, no, not at all. Our story with Anne begins right in the middle of the construction. Try to follow me because there's a lot of twists, and I slow down on the twists to make sure you guys are getting the gist of this. So, 1708, a young lady named Anne Cormack moves here from Ireland. Yes, I know, the history's going to be long on this one, I'm sorry. Anne Cormack.
Still recording right now, right?
We can start recording if you want. Again, there's no other tours around, so I mean, if you want to record while we're here, or if you want to give the camera a break to see if it refocuses, that's fine too. The same thing goes with yours. So if you want to give it a break, I splice all those videos together anyway. So there's only one video for each camera.
Can I go ahead and turn on the
recording
REM?
for a
I'm
little
gonna
bit.
hang on 1 second. I just want to get the camera started, and I don't want to be interrupted by a bunch of beeps in the event where you got something.
I stopped recording for a second.
Okay, perfect. So, young lady Anne Cormack, she comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you guys with me so far? Okay, I got head nods. That's good. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How bad is it that she was that pissed off they leave Ireland by boat to come here? Like, that's one scorned woman. Anyway, they land in Georgetown. That's just north of us, between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation up there, and Mom died pretty quickly thereafter. So that means you have to send young Anne down here to be able to sell anything from the plantation to keep things afloat, hence the familiar building. Let's take a step backwards with Anne back in Ireland. They say she actually killed one of her servants. That's when you know you've been on a cheesy tour, when everybody applauds, just so you know. Did I say that out loud? I sure did. But anyway, Anne was, badass. They say she killed one of her servants at the age of 7, 8, 9 years old. Remember, this is pirate lore. So again, nothing is going to be exact all the time. With a knife to the belly. We have had the term servant, knife, and belly all show up all in one evening before, just so you guys know. Fast forward, the building's done in 13. By 1715, pirates are coming through Charleston, and Anne is pretty stood. Why? She wants to earn her freedom just like a man. She's looking for a husband. So, guy number one. Yes, there's a handful, and we're going to go through them. Guy number one is James Bonney. You already see where this one's going. He's a filthy pirate. Dad didn't approve. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married, and Cormac became Anne Bonney. She remains married to him until she meets her second husband much, much later. But when they get down to Jamaica, she realizes that James Bonney is not Captain Jack Sparrow like she was hoping for. This guy is a privateer. He's a spy for the British. This is not who she wants. He's a coward. A few years later, she falls in love again. This is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, just so you guys know who this is. Calico Jack has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of it. Can't put a girl on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why?
Because there's a whole bunch of guys.
We're thinking family friendly here.
Yeah.
They're bad luck. That's the curse. They're bad luck to the pirate ship. And I do get that answer quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, she's fine. But anyway, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you could be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She takes him up on the deal because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her away from his wife. So she's game. Let's do this. But we're all adults here. Let's put two and two together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So, before she starts to show her pregnancy, Jack drops her off in Cuba. These are friends of mine. Go have the baby. They're going to help you out. Come back later and we'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. You can ask all you want to. We might get an answer. I've never had anything confirmed. However, she does come back dressed as a female. This makes Jack angry, because now the whole crew's going to know that he let a girl on the crew to curse the ship. While she was away giving birth to his baby, he captured another pirate crew, and they're down below deck as prisoners. She's going to go flirting with that crew to make Jack even more mad, because that's who Anne is. Again, she killed that servant with a knife to the belly. That's just her mentality. So, we're on guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, trying to be pirates on the same ship. This lady's name was Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure, but the British found out where they are. They sent an entire fleet of ships to take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are rumored to have come up, the only pirates to come up and fight against that British fleet with 1-bullet flintlocks. Probably because they don't know how to use the cannons yet. So, obviously 2 ladies with 1-bullet flintlocks are not going to take on a fleet of ships. They're getting arrested. And as they're being arrested, she looks at Jack, her captain and beau, and says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot on your spirit boxes. We've even had barking on spirit boxes before. It's the weirdest shit ever. But anyway, the judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. So the 2 ladies go in front, and by the way, Calico Jack and his crew are already dead and gone. He's already hung them 2 days prior, November 26th. So November 28th, the 2 ladies go in front and reveal their gender. He doesn't care that they're female. He's still going to hang them because they're pirates. "We plead our bellies" was the last thing they screamed out, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. We don't really know much about her after her pirate career. It's very brief, and there's a lot of different speculations of where she actually ended up. Some say South Carolina, some say she went up to Virginia. Who knows? Anyway, as far as Mary Reed, she died a year later in 1721 from that Jamaican jail, from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books will tell you that it was fever. I'm going to call bullshit, and let's make it romantic. We're talking pirates. It's probably scurvy. So let's make it nice and bumpy and gross for your imaginations, right? Yeah, right. Just making sure you guys are paying attention with the laughter. Good. Now, the questions here are very simple. You guys know how to ask questions right now. We're not going to tiptoe around this woman like what we did with Eliza back there at the Pinkley Mansion. So poke the bear a little bit. I will tell you, I left out a few things on purpose so you had something to go off of. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents on purpose. So see if you can find out what her parents' names are. That's the father and the mistress. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship. So that one's very specific as well. Brianna, with yours, you will be using the motion sensor in here, but in hopes that Anne Bonny will show you her hair color. The only way for her to do that is to touch the antenna, and it will be red.
Okay.
So we have, what's funny thing is I found that one by accident, and we kept getting responses from it night after night after night. It was the
So I
craziest
can
thing.
turn it on now?
The ear ringing is coming from the garage.
Okay,
So if you guys all have ear ringings right now, it's not paranormal or supernatural, it's coming from the garage, just so you know. It happened last night too.
It was just annoying.
It's
that's why.
super annoying. So videos, keep in mind, people cut through here, with other tours and that kind of thing. We're lucky enough where there's no vehicles, but we will spread out and kind of see what we capture here, and you guys are going to tell me, based on what your findings are, if we actually have some activity going on. EMF detections, just so you know, we have 2 electrical poles in the corners behind you. So don't get excited if you get, I would say anything on this back half above that normal 2.5 is where I'll be excited. Don't expect a whole lot of EMF out of this location. It just doesn't occur. But when we do get something, it is normally on video, and it is normally around that wall, just so you guys know, near the powder magazine.
Huh.
So again, let's bounce around, let's have some fun, and we still have one more spot to go after this, just so you guys know. But yeah, spread out. Have you guys heard anything, by the way? Since we've been?
an MR.
Camera's on.
Mary Reed. We've had that in the past. Nice. Good job, man. Love it. Finally. I haven't had something out of that device in like 3 nights.
I have an idea for why it's always for like hazard. We got a blue. Okay. I think it was just movement, even though I didn't move. I just held it.
I'll take note of it. We'll see if that comes back.
Okay.
Blue.
I want more.
Ask questions.
What questions were you asking?
He said poke the bear. That's whatever you
What's the
want.
name of Jack Calico's ship?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
And was it Mary's
The-
parents or was
no,
it?
it was Anne Bonny's parents.
And you were on a boat. What was the name of that boat? Or ship that Jack Calico took you on? Just that in your thing?
No, I'm not. I don't have anything. I'm not listening to anything.
This is a gel? Bro, what is this wall is so weird. It's only on this wall. Like, you see that, right? Yeah. I'm not tripping, because the rest of the wall looks... Oh, shit, no.
What is it?
You see how it's like green and shit?
See, look, but when I'm right here, it's like totally fine.
It's also like the walls has shadows and indents.
No, look, it's like...
Like that? Is that what you're talking about?
Like, watch. It hasn't done this on anything else. Like, it looks fine, right?
Yeah.
But then the second I go up here, it'll just, like, pop up.
Like flashing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's with fuck. It's with the outline of like the shadow.
It's not with the outline of the shadow, dude. You can see the shadow in there.
What's the name of the book?
It was like a female, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. It wasn't.
It was
Like,
like,
yeah.
I got blue.
Felipe.
Ask her
The
which...
name of Calico Jack's ship.
He said it'd be over here. I got P.
That was for the ones that
That was
read
EMF.
signals.
Peel.
easy to do. I mean, it actually takes like a train here. I mean, I listened to it before it was born. They're starting in March, Perseverance here for Kendal, where with each location, the spirit boxes are sped up, and then there's an essence method that we're going to do with it. So that's like setting up
What did it say?
it could be an intense session. Like it's not
I've
going to be that same speed the entire
Le
time.
Bell?
It'll be sped up, sped up, sped up, sped up. So it's nothing but noise, and then see what happens.
Pee-pee.
Call me sir.
Pepe.
No te gustas la pepe?
Is the ship named Le Pepe?
Servant?
Servant.
Yep.
Is that like blood?
No.
It said like love or something.
Two. Anything coming out of your spirit box?
Same.
Not easy to do.
Did you kill
Springing to action.
spring into action? Did you spring into action on that servant?
Did they catch that fade?
What's coming out of yours, dude?
We got
We heard
servant.
servant.
I like that.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet. Any letters?
I got peel. P-E-L.
Feel
I could also look at that as a name. Like that could have been a soldier's name because this thing did serve in 7 different
Yeah.
wars. Not to mention, we're next to a cemetery. I'm gonna write it down just to see and go through the records to see if there's somebody named here.
What does it say right now?
And then you had servant coming out of the SP11. That's awesome. But yeah, you can definitely use something like that for space because it'll overwrite, and then we're trying to make an anagram out of like an overwritten text. So we're actually looking at yours. We want it to be consistent.
You probably had like a bunch of words, but you just weren't overriding.
Yeah, it was.
I've been resetting every time. Bitch ass. What have you got?
Oh,
Here's a camera. It's kind of cool.
The coolest
someone just got blicked on that.
It's almost like Destiny.
What is that just? Shut up, Cheri. You know this is recorded, right?
Oh, what's up? Hugs and kisses?
Oh, boy, it's like going crazy. Hot sauce.
Socks. White socks.
Oh, the White Sox. They play down here?
Back in 1641.
Before the U.S. was a country.
That's why they call it America's pastime, dumbass.
Osmosis Jones.
MOS. For the Marines.
Marsoc. And Marsoc right
The
there?
boat.
Let me try to.
I'm gonna go that way. See if I can.
Fable?
You heard Fable?
Yeah.
That's like pirate. They tell fables. Alright, fuck me
If
then.
that's the name of the ship, I'm losing my shit. What the fuck? I swear I just heard ghost hunting.
I also heard that.
What?
I also heard that. That's why I turned around. Ghost haunting. Huh.
What did you do with your baby?
Yeah.
Great North.
My. Oh, maybe your baby's in the Great North. Trenton North.
He died?
What?
What the
That's crazy. That really just said that, right?
Yeah.
What did it
okay.
say?
It said he died.
My gang.
Oh, wait. Bro, she's in a pirate gang, like actually.
XO.
I love
my gang. Just hide me for real.
Wait. That's kind of. That's like. Just tell him.
Bro, I'm gonna be like, I got my G and G. Like,
So
How
yours
did your
is,
baby
yours
Just go
is
tell him.
different than mine. I'm picking up like
His is live.
I pick
dude.
up music.
We
Mine
have
is
music
like
and
just
radio.
stations and stuff.
Oh, so
Or
it's
it
the
can be
same.
like talk shows and like I hear commercials on this thing.
Yeah.
GG's. So what happened to your baby?
You were like
GG's.
you were the worst person to give that to.
Yeah. What did happen to her baby?
He died. It literally said he died. Wait, did it say?
How did he die?
No. Did it say she died or he?
You gotta stop talking.
Did it say she died or he died?
I think
It said, I just heard he died. Like,
It died, right?
I just heard.
I think Crazy Train from Ozzy just came on.
Taught us some history on this building right here. I asked him if the building has anything to do with it. And he said yes. You see how there's a triangle right there?
I was wondering.
There's a building there.
Yeah, it used to be like a newsroom and like a mercantile and everything. And then they used it for storage and then they built on top of it to make apartments.
Look, the camera tweets every time I point it at that building.
What?
It just like trips out every time I
Her
point it at
camera
the building.
doesn't see it.
You can see the light.
How did your baby die?
What did you do with your
Said poke
kid
the
after
beard.
you gave
We
birth?
said what did you do with your kid? And
Tell him that.
we're gonna. I think he said come over here.
He's been trying to get us over here for the
Oh.
past like 2 minutes.
I was like, they're starting their own ghost hunting team back there. Just making a break for it.
We asked what happened to the kid, and the box said it died.
Oh.
Like immediately.
Yeah, like right after we
We
asked.
don't know. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be writing that one down. Like, that's a great response. Really cool. I'm excited about the letters MR that showed up on the Ouija board, because that's Mary Reed's initials. So that's pretty cool stuff. We didn't get anything coming out of the word list. So we did get a little bit of REM, which is motion, that was near Brianna. So, by the way, am I screwing up anybody's names? I'm trying to avoid the gentleman's names, just so you guys know. I have to put you down, but yeah, not all of them. But at any rate, we're getting a little bit of motion over here. I told some of you to come over by the wall, just because I will tell you when psychics are on this tour, they all see the same soldier standing here in the same manner of dress. Blue pants, white shirt. Weird thing is, you're in the South. If that's a Civil War soldier, that's the wrong uniform. So again, I still need to dive in to see which war that actually would have came from. But it is interesting that a good, decent psychic, they'll all see the same person. And I'm not telling them about it. Like, it's just kind of very interesting. Again, kind of a weak thing. The only thing I'm excited about, the other thing, we heard servant, obviously. So that was a big deal. So we'll see if something else pops up around that clue. But let's go over the very brief answers to the questions I had you guys poking around about. This was kind of a lighter
MVS?
end of things. We have some clues, and we'll see what I find in my spot checks in the morning. Anne Bonnie, this is one of the few pictures you can find of this woman where she has a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bare a breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. I told you she was a badass. So, the names of her parents, William Cormack, Mary Brennan. I wasn't tricking you with another Mary. It just so happened that the mom and the lover's name were both Mary, just so you know. And Mary Brennan was a servant to the Cormack home. That's a whole other scandal of another 30-minute story, so we won't get into that. So we didn't get anything relevant. And normally what's funny about the parents' names is they'll come up together through one spirit box. Like one person with a spirit box will come back to me and say, were the names William and Mary? Because I just heard William and Mary come through on a DJ. It's always together. So it's very interesting. As far as Calico Jack, everybody wants to see what they base Johnny Depp off of. So I like to show off this picture too, because it actually is a big eye-opener. This is Calico Jack. He is named Calico Jack because of the jackets that he wore. The jackets he wore came from the British captains that he killed. His father was a tailor, so textiles were very important to the Rackham family. Calico Jack translates to fancy jacket. That's where the name comes from. The name of the ship was called the Kingston. The only spirit box I would actually expect the word Kingston to come out of would be Daniel's. And that was because he picks up more disembodied voices than the rest of them. The rest of you are listening to mainly DJs and song lyrics. Yep. The word king would actually suffice in this location based on the technology of the other spirit boxes, including the word list. I've never seen the word Kingston on there, but we have had the word king show up on Kendal's list. So again, those were the answers there. I also like to talk about another reason why I give that heated warning at the beginning of the tour. This is one of those spaces where you'll see why here in just a second. not this past September, the September before. So about a year and a half ago, I brought my group to the back, just like where we were at. And the kid next to me literally went white as a ghost and started to faint.
Yo.
I had to pick him up by his armpit. Do you have something?
I got
NB.
NB.
Mary Brennan. Nice. And I have to write down the other term that you guys heard too. Oh, it died. So very cool. But anyway, I'm picking this kid up by his armpit because he's about to hit his head on the pavement. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him, and we brought him over to the wall so he could sit down. We got him a bottle of water. He's feeling better. And then I told them the history of Anne Bonny, like I just told you. This used to be my last stop. So I was like, all right, everybody, last stop, go have fun. Let's see what we capture. These two gentlemen pull me aside and tell me, Nick, we are two transgender males, meaning I had two females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary as pirates, on my tour. And it made complete sense as to why one of them nearly passed out the minute we entered the space. This is the uncanny shit that I see. So this is why I give that heated warning. I can't tell you how many psychics and mediums left to go to an emergency room after visiting the Pinckney Mansion site and not telling me they were psychic. Again, I don't normally give psychics, if they alert me that they're a little sensitive, a spirit box. It's too much information, or they just don't get it because they get messages a much different way. So again, in the past week, I've had an instance where somebody revealed that they were psychic later on, and it made sense to me as why they were struggling with their spirit box. So again, I normally like to know those things ahead of time. But that's why I give those heated warnings, because the kid, granted, he didn't leave to go to the emergency room, thank the gods. He was perfectly fine. I followed up with him a week later. But that's the kind of stuff that I see. So the next space we're going to go to, and it's kind of cool, is we're using, the digital camera tonight. It's not one we always use. We're going to be passing up the circular church graveyard. It's a beautiful, old, historical, obviously church and graveyard. So if those of you with cameras want to get some footage, or if you want to take some pictures, I am just not going to stop, because the next stop that we're going to is Washington Square, about 2.5 blocks from here. So just kind of keep that in mind, and if you want to take your pictures or get slow footage, I'll walk a little slower near that area, but I'll keep moving so we can get back to Washington Square. The next stop we're going to, I'll also tell you, I don't know everything about that space. It's brand new. I've only been going there since November. And again, this is where you get a very, very brief history, not a...
Among Us.
We're going to be going all the way around it, just so you know. Like,
Oh.
It's all... It's a circular church.
Because wasn't there like it was strict to go against the other religion?
Homeless gentlemen that will come in and ask you guys for money, so just kind of be mindful of that. Stay in pairs if you don't mind. So we are here because of that bust right over there. I'd just like to drop my bag for a second, that's why we're not right up next to it. When I first came here the first time in November, I was looking just for a new space. I had a very small group, and I said, do you want to experiment with a new location? Look around, guys. There's a million monuments. We could be talking to anybody. I wanted to figure out who we were actually going to get information from and figure it out. Everything turned out to be wrapped around that guy. We had his exact birth year, 1828, and we also had his first name, Henry, and part of his last name, Tim, show up on spirit boxes. So I was like, I know of a Henry Timrod, I just don't know the full story. So, very basic part of his story, so you guys know what we're dealing with here. First off, this is a writer. He's an author and a poet. So this guy was very sick through most of his life. He's obviously alive during the Civil War. He wants to be part of it. He's going to go fight for the Confederate side. So for you northern folks, sorry, this is where he went. He goes out there, and he realized, his comrades realized he was actually too sick to fight. So they sent him home, knowing he was a writer, and they asked him to be the voice of the war. Go out there and write your poetry about what you're seeing out here on the battlefield. That's exactly what he did. Came home to Charleston, started writing for a newspaper, telling everybody what was going on with basically the Civil War and on the battlefield. So, a couple years after he comes home, he has a son. You guys are going to find out what his name is, what the son's birthday was, and how old he was when he died, because it was a very young age. So that's 3 questions you can ask while you're here. But obviously, his son dying at a young age was a bit of a tragedy to this sick man. A couple more years go by, his college friend calls him up and says, I have a cottage out here in Columbia. That's the middle of our state. You can come out here and kind of finish working on the piece that you're supposed to be wrapping up in peace and quiet, and kind of get away from the life and the remorse of everything you're going through. So he takes him up on the offer, and that's where he writes his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality, which means, it translates to, person of short life. And then he coughed, and it landed on the page in a blood stain. he had tuberculosis. That was his illness. So that blood stain has become famous here in Charleston. And this book is actually at the Charleston Library Society, which is where I heard this story at on a ghost tour when I was researching. So I was like, it's just weird that we are getting those clues here when his collection is over there. Now they show that blood-stained book one day a year on Halloween, and you have to be a member of the society to be able to see it. The interesting thing about the blood stain is it actually looks like a man writing at his desk. So the internet is a beautiful thing. So I'm going to show you what the blood book looks like. And then I'm going to read a quick stanza from one of his poems to kind of stir things up. This is a shy, timid man. It's going to take us probably 5 minutes for him to warm up to us before we start truly hearing things about him. So, again, I don't know everything about this man. I read part of his biography, and I read a good portion of his poetry. He wasn't a bad writer. Super great either, but he was good. He was giving the voice of what he needed to actually send his message about. He actually became known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. Like, that's a pretty big title in the writing world. So sorry for being the writing geek, but when I read that, I was like, oh shit, this guy actually has some notoriety. Good deal. So, what is going on with my tablet? Couldn't find it. Now it's all discolored. You broke it, guys. Perfect. So this is the blood book.
Oh,
You can see beholder of brief mortality, and then the blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk.
That is
So you can actually see this in real life if you're a member of that society on Halloween. That's the only time they will open this book up to this page so that you can see it.
That looks cool.
So this is called the blood book, by the way. So we have gotten the terms blood and book in the same evening, not from the same spirit boxes, but just how that works. So quick stanza: we know not in the temple of the fates God has inscribed her doom, and all untroubled in her faith she waits the triumph or the tomb. This was written in 1862, right in the middle of the Civil War. Basically, he's stating, because the poem is called Charleston, that Charleston has to wait for the fate of the war to see if Charleston's going to be part of the triumph or the tomb. So we have gotten the terms triumph and tomb in the same evening. I have noticed on nights I don't recognize his work, we don't get much activity. So again, with the SLS camera, so Keter, with yours, there's a lot of branches in here. So just be cognizant of your surroundings before you get excited about a man standing around. Part of the reason why we actually have that camera, somebody brought the big Connect 360 camera with them on one of my tours in December.
That's so crazy.
And we were near the bust, and we had a full 8-minute interaction with a figure standing next to the bust. And when I say interaction, we had it in front of us. Henry, is it okay if I read one of your stanzas? Raise your right hand. Up it went, then down it went.
Oh my.
The interesting thing about that interaction is it was all males and one female on my team that night. The only female went to the side of where the wrought iron gate is and outstretched her hand and asked Henry to shake it, and he disappeared. If you think about it, it was probably disrespectful for a woman during his lifetime to be asking a man to shake her hand in that manner. That's just not what they did in the 1800s. So we never got him back, and I went, oh shit, I need to get one of those cameras. So that's exactly why I researched it, to see what technology can I use that's going to be better or not match the Connect 360. So that's why we're using the one that we're using now. So your interaction hopefully will be around that bust. EMF detectors, by the way, we will get spikes well over 100 in here. I don't know where it's going to be, just so you have that idea. It's usually in a grassy knoll of some sort, so not the brick areas, it's going to be in the grass. And again, we've had it go all the way to 157. That's microwave running levels, just so you guys have that idea. So kind of be, you can use your REM pod in here as well, so that is the back piece. Lots and lots of pictures in here. We've caught small orbs with your camera, especially if you are near, damn it, dude, Nashville? No, Taryn.
Yep.
Okay, if you're near Taryn, his lighting will reflect in your camera. You have a filter that will pick up the same lighting that his is using. So again, the cameras require a special filter. It's part of the reason why we have that camera.
Okay.
So again, if you guys are near each other, you will pick up purple things moving around.
I've noticed it whenever I take pictures around.
Perfect. All right, guys, let's spread out. This is our last stop, so let's see what we can find. What do you got?
We had a
We'll go away from it.
Blue already?
I'm out of here.
Yeah. Good next to y'all.
Blue, I reset it and then it flickered like blue and gold.
Oh no, there's a guy. There's a guy in a sleeping bag right there. Scared the fuck out. There's a man over there. There's a man right there.
Over here?
Yeah, like right there.
Oh, real. Okay.
have to be in pairs, man. Come on. We have to be in pairs. Let's go read what this is. It's so dark. Beer rag, beer good,
Both, Morgan.
beer good.
That's like bow. That pronunciation is like bow, and then Morgan. Bow, Morgan.
Something beer good. General. He's a general commanding Confederate forces. Charleston, South Carolina, held this city and harbor inviolate against combined attacks by land and water. In 1863, 1864, and 65, this monument is erected in his honor by grateful people.
Cole. Maybe that was his
After
son's name.
death in 1904. Cole?
Cole.
Maybe that was his name. I didn't like that.
What'd you say?
They didn't like that.
What'd you say?
I said maybe
Maybe it
that's
was
his
his
name.
name. That's how old his son was when he died.
Oh wait,
How
bro.
old was your son when he died?
Something's PC Beergood. PC Beergood. Cole Beergood?
Honestly,
Just go ask him.
6 or 8, something like that. I heard.
68?
No, I heard like it might be 6.
Let's go see. Let's go this way. Dum 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 dum. Dum dum dum. It got real quiet when they left. Mr. Paul Cole Beergood. Someone's floating with them over there.
coming out of that spirit box.
We heard Cole maybe, and
Yeah,
then
Cole.
6.
That was the Confederate General's monument.
With this place, sometimes things pop up with other people, so I have to do a lot of research. So, like with the Ouija board, we get different things relative to different monuments, and we've already got 2 things on the word list that are not relevant to Henry at all. But we have the word Michael, which shows up here pretty much nightly because we're next to St. Michael's Church, and she also has Jackson. I love how she's just shouting it out. I'm trying to follow up with everybody. But Jackson's mother actually has a memorial in this location. So it's not Michael Jackson. It's like Michael and Jackson. So those are 2 different things. I'm waiting to see if something else is going to pop up.
And what was his first name again?
Henry.
Henry Timmel.
So you're trying to find out what his son's name was. It's very specific. It's not like George or Charles. It's not that specific. It's a nickname. So I'll give you that clue so that way you're not seeking something out.
Okay.
So think of my name as being a nickname for Nicholas. It's something along those lines.
Okay.
Because that's
Okay.
what his son went by.
Let's start asking questions, Louise.
What
I've been asking him.
What was your son's name?
Nothing. I've been asking what his son's name was when he died. How old he was. No, I didn't hear it.
You got a 50.4 over.
So he told the story. You just told me to shush? That's cool. Let's go over here. See if we can find some shit.
What was your son's name?
So that light just flickered.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he told the story of the Confederates, like of the war. I wonder if Mr. Henry Timrod would let us tell his story. If you tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's go back. What is that?
What is what?
See that like purple? There's no like light over there.
That's the door, no?
Maybe. Let's go over there.
Look, it might be coming from that red light right there.
Oh. So.
Ron?
Ron?
Maybe.
I heard it too.
Listen for a name, a nickname of some kind, like shorthand for whatever.
Was
Like
your
Chuck
son's
instead of
nickname
Charles.
Ron?
Dick.
That too, awesome.
For like Richard?
Billy. Jack.
Well, don't just list off names.
Oh, yeah. What
Where'd you-
was your son's name?
PT? I like PT.
Pterodactyl.
She's going crazy now.
PTZ. Throw up. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum.
I said this should just said goodnight to me.
Said good night. It is pretty late. Maybe he wants to go to sleep.
Yeah, yes.
We got the name Cole.
Either Cole or Ron or what was the other thing?
Mom got a bunch of names too. She got Brad.
What was your son's name?
You have to say his name so that we know who we're talking to.
Henry Timrod. What was your son's name?
This looks freaky over here. Let's go see.
He said one time they got like this chick's full name, Marguerite, and he just off by one letter.
On that thing? On that one?
Yeah. But fuck that shit.
This one's in such a weird spot.
What?
So this one is in such a weird spot. Erected by the Friends of O'Day, Charlestown, in loving tribute to Marguerite Sinclair Bach. Yeah, you got MSV earlier, didn't you?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you did. I saw it because we were like,
Yeah, you did.
Mrs.
Huh?
You got MSV earlier.
When did we? You're just like brain sports connections. Ooh. Now you're just fucking pissing her off. Marguerite Sinclair Woza. Henry Nimrod.
What was your son's name?
Let's see if I can get 8 numbers.
Ask him how old his son was. Henry Timrod, how old was your son? Can you at least give us that?
He wants everybody to be like over here.
Oh, okay. I wonder if the females over there bother him. He's like, man, hell no. Huh?
That was on recording.
I'm talking about the ghost, bro. Because he said that it didn't like when the female asked him to shake his hand.
I just see the homeless guy sleeping over there.
Oh, yeah.
Alright guys, let's rein it in. We've got her crazy up to 65.9. Go ahead and kill your video cameras, give them a break, because I'm